Good morning, folks. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Welcome to episode 2 of Building My Empire on the sensational football platform that is called Soccerverse. This series will concentrate on the business side of football and, in particular, me buying as much influence in players and clubs as I can possibly afford. Now, I am running another series alongside this one, which will focus on the management side where I am trying to take Taunton Town from Tier 10 English football to the Premier League. So if you've got any interest in the management side of this game, then I would appreciate if you just check out the other series too. Thank you very much in advance. But for now, this series is going to document my journey where I'm going to try and buy as much influence as I possibly can, like I said, in players and in football clubs. So, from when I last left you, things have changed slightly. I've got 50 clubs now that I'm got influence in and 16 players. In terms of the clubs, as I explained before, for example, when I bought Leeds packs from the shop, you get 6 other clubs that comes with influence. Now, some of those clubs I've never heard of, and I've got a lot of them in my portfolio now. So the likelihood is they're just going to sit there. I'm unlikely to be able to sell them because I don't even know who they are. So unless a fan of that club comes along from some remote Finnish city or something, then the likelihood they will remain in my portfolio. They are making me slight passive income, so I'm happy with that anyway. And in all honesty, this is what I'm trying to focus on to get a good passive income stream of SVC coming in each game week. Now, my plan going forward, whatever I make each game week, I'm going to start compounding it and just putting it straight back into the game. I'm also going to invest on a weekly basis in clubs and players. In terms of clubs, the only 3 real clubs I've got interested in now is Leeds because I'm a huge fan. I've got a manager, Alan, who I know really well, or I've come to know really well through speaking to him, who's a lovely fella. He's managing Leeds on the game, so he's going to do his utmost to get Leeds back where I believe they belong in real life as well in the Premier League, which will hopefully make the shares more valuable because the income, etc., will increase. Dunstan, because obviously I started invested in that because that was my plan. What I'm now doing with Taunton, I've got a good friend of mine who's managing Dunstan, so the plan is still there to try and take Dunstan as high as possible. And obviously, Taunton, I'm trying to buy as much influence in Taunton for reasons I've given on my other videos. So, in terms of clubs, they're the only real 3 clubs that I've got any interest in now in buying influence because there's a financial incentive on those 3 clubs. And like I said, I am playing this game for financial gain. That is my number one priority. Yes, having fun is great and everything like that, but I'm here to make money. Make no mistake. So that is the plan with my clubs. The fascinating side of this game for me, more than any other, is the player influence that you can buy. I think every football fan who plays football manager, so rare, etc., we all want to find the next big thing, the next Messi, the next Ronaldo. And this is why we spend or invest so much time into these games. And the beauty with this game is if you can find anything like the next Messi or Ronaldo, then financially you could be hitting the jackpot, especially if you get in on early or get on early in the player. And that is definitely one thing that attracts me to this side of the game. Now, if you were to buy 50,000 influence in a player, that means you can vote yourself to become an agent. However, that comes with no guarantees because someone could come along and buy more influence and take over as the player's agent. And the example I'm going to give here is Jay Stansfield. He's the boy who plays for Birmingham in real life. Birmingham paid 10 million quid for him from Fulham. Now, bear in mind, Birmingham are currently in League One in real life, so that's a lot of money to spend on one player. So I bought 50,000 influence in him. I then voted myself to become his agent. And then not the GOAT, what's the word? The main whale on the game, protagonist, he came along and bought 500,000 influence. And now he is Jay Stansfield, agent on the game. I obviously still own my influence, so I'm not too bothered if I'm being honest. But just to make you aware, you're not always guaranteed because someone can obviously come in and buy more and then boot you out. So please bear that in mind. You're not always guaranteed to remain the player's agent, etc. So what I have been doing, I just want to explain the process on what I'm actually doing and why I'm doing it, etc. Is the SVC I make each game week. Like I said, I am reinvesting back into the game and I'm buying influence or shares, whatever you want to call them, in young English talent because that's where my knowledge is. Like I said, I know scouts in the lower leagues of English football personally, and I would like to think my knowledge, especially in the lower leagues of English football, is very, very good. So that's where I've concentrated recently on buying certain players, etc. Now I'm not trying to pump these. Do your own research. I am just telling you why, or I'm just going to point out certain players that I've invested in and tell you the reasons on why. Now, the beauty of this game, you don't even need real knowledge or know people in the footballing world because a lot of it will show on Google. And for example, Samson Tavide, he's at Colchester at the moment. A mate of mine who's a scout at Newport, when I first joined the game, this is one of the first players he told me about. Um, and as you can see, young lad, decent stats there. 7 goals, 5 assists in 23 matches. But like I said, the beauty with Google and the technology these days, anyone can find anything about any player. Just simply hit the news tab and you can see a month ago there's an article saying that Colchester rejected multiple offers for the striker. Now, I'm not going to go into the article, but these are from championship clubs. So my theory in finding these players and why I've invested in him is because his current game rating is 59. Now, with what Ticky gave, and if anyone wants to know Ticky, he's the main guy on the Discord channel. He produced, or not produced, but he supplied this player or club base ratings spreadsheet, and that will list every club on the game and it'll give you a club base rating. So if that player signs for a certain club, just for argument's sake, he signed for Dallas in America, his club base rating would be 64, meaning that that player's minimum rating would be 64. And that is how I understand it. If I'm wrong, then someone would have to correct me on that, but that's how I believe it would work. Now, I know for a fact some of the clubs that are who were linked with him in January transfer window, like I said, they were championship clubs, and some of the club base ratings are mid 60s. So that would mean instantly, or I say instantly, as soon as they update the scoring, which is every season, so it's every 6 months, if he moves, for example, in real life at the end of this season, when the club ratings get updated and the player ratings, in my belief, that would then go up higher to mid 60s and then it would change depending on what his performances were like at championship level. So players like him are a win-win for me when they're rated so low on the game in the first place. They're the sort of players that I want because all you're asking them to do is to move to a higher club in the championship, etc., and they're automatically going to get a boost in their player rating. So that's how I'm looking at the game. And obviously, when the club rating goes up, or the player rating, I'm sorry, then there's going to be a demand for him on the game because teams want players who are mid-60s. So there's going to be a demand for him. So he's going to command higher wages, etc., which you get a percentage of because you own influence in him. Now, I'm just going to quickly go through because I know this is going on and on and on now. Joel Colwill, bought him purely because, or I've bought influence in him because I know the lad. He plays for my hometown club, Cardiff. He's on loan at Exeter at the moment. He was on loan at Cheltenham. He had a great loan patch or a loan spell with Cheltenham earlier on in the season. He was then recalled and then sent back out to Exeter. I think Cardiff's rating is 62 on the club base rating, I believe. So I think he could feature for Cardiff next season. So if he stays at Cardiff, that rating is going to go up, which again will make him more attractive for people trying to sign him on the game. The next fella is Justin Abikwu. This guy is on loan from Coventry. He scored almost a goal every other game that he's started at Grimsby. He's quick, he's tricky, and he can find the back of the net. His current rating is 60. I believe Coventry is 63 or 64 of their base rating. So, providing he stays at Coventry next season, it's my understanding that that rating will go up. So that's just a flavour of the players that I'm looking at. Like I said, I'm not. The likelihood is I am not going to be finding the next Messi or Ronaldo. The sort of players that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for superstars. I'm looking for players who are currently rated lower on the game than I believe that they will be when Soccerverse look at amending or updating the player scores. I've got no doubt in my mind those three I've just showed you, come July or June when Soccerverse update their scores, those three should show a higher rating than they're currently showing now. Now, my advice to anyone is to get involved in the player influence because for me, it's where the most money can be made. It's easy to find information on these players. You don't have to have inside contacts anywhere. It obviously helps if you do because you're gonna find out about them a lot sooner. But like I've showed you on Google, you can find anything in this world now. Um, as soon as the stories break in, it's going to be online. Just look for players who are going to look for or who have had interest in bigger clubs. Because, like I said, more often than not, when that happens, their current rating on the game will improve in time. And like I said, because we're on the game early, I think you've just got to take advantage of that. Because if there is a boom like there was on So Rare 4 years ago, then I can see serious money being made by certain people who've already got on the game and invested. However, just want to make it clear that this isn't a financial advice. There's no guarantees, etc. Obviously, just invest what you can afford to lose. But I am very, very confident on this game because, like I said, it is the most complete football game that I've ever played. You can play so many roles within the footballing world. It is just fantastic. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on for far too long. I do apologise, but I just wanted to give you a flavour of what I'm trying to do and trying to achieve. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Really appreciate you watching. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you very soon.